Hey there, good morning. So, just really quick, I've always said, if the feet ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So you always have to remember that how your feet function and interact with the ground is the first point of interaction for a great sequencing of physical performance. So, I don't know how many of you guys know the book Anatomy for Runners. It's written by Jay Deshary. It's a great book because what Jay does is breaks down when you should move when you have a niggle and when you shouldn't move and rest it. And that's why he kind of caught my attention, because there are times when movement and more exercise and more stress on the tissue will hurt you, but there's times when it will actually help you. So he invented this thing called the Mobo board as well, which is designed to help you learn how to stand in a really strong way so that you can support the kind of intensity that it takes to either pedal really hard and push force down into the pedal, or what in the landing of running is where most injuries happen. It's in the landing phase. And so when we discuss whether you should wear socks or not wear socks, if you are pain-free with your lower body, and even if you're dealing with a little bit of plantar fasciitis, a little hip niggle, a little knee niggle, I can make a pretty good argument to wear bare feet for at least part of the day. So when we're little babies, we come out and our feet have this pliability, this mobility to them that's insane. If you happen to have the chance and the honor to be around a little kid, just look at how their foot expands every single time they put the foot into the ground, especially when they're just learning to walk. So the Mobo board teaches us to load into the ball joint of the big toe, not to be confused with loading directly into the big toe, like the extended part of it. I want you to really focus on loading the ball joint behind the big toe. And the Mobo board really helps us align into that perfect place. So when we do mobility and when we sometimes lift weights, I really, really like the freedom of having the toes be able to move. And so socks do similar to what a shoe does with a little bit less restriction, but it definitely is something we want to spend time again with a bare foot so that the toes can expand. Proprioception elevates with a bare foot as well. All right, so there's my argument for no socks when possible and when appropriate. It's not 100% of the time. Okay, so let's get started with Mobility Monday. Hope you had an amazing weekend. We're going to start with the double arm relaxed position. And so sometimes they call that the prisoner position, but I kind of hate that. Okay, right here, we're just going to go ahead and squeeze the shoulder blades together and then round the spine and take both elbows to the knee. And then come back up, extend the spine and elbows to the back. 2 elbows to the knee. We're really going to get stable so you can feel that upregulation of the lower body. You feel unstable, just keep moving. It's going to feel better and better. Extend. And good. Mondays, we don't do a lot of repetitions. Don't think that you can't do this session again and again and again, right? It's kind of all designed that way. First of all, noticing when you get into that half kneeling 90-90, elbows back, spine extended, and back in. 2, 3, 4. Good, just one more there. 5, and good. So you're starting to see that back and forth toggle naturally happening. Let's go ahead and drop the hips back, work into that hinge, And we're going to go half sphere of tension. Pull your palms away from the ground and come back into that. Again, going into that extended position. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Let's go the other side. Push the hips back. Especially on the first one, take your time. We're getting into that high hamstring a little bit. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let's go ahead and grab your foam roller. We're going to work into that adductor, inner thigh. Laying on the ground, bring the knee up to the height of the hip. The foam roller is perpendicular to the femur. We're going to work that first third. And we're going to go ahead and hit a little bit of internal rotation in the hips with the flossing. It's a little herky-jerky on that for me today. That'll tell me that my lateral hip is getting tight, which doesn't surprise me because I got stuck on the Alpe de Zwift yesterday. If you're doing the Tour de Zwift, one of my friends says, oh, do the A group. There's more people, you'll have more fun. Horrible decision. That destroyed, and I can't quit, you know? So I'm not in shape for a 2.5 hour bike ride. I'm pretty solid at 2 hours right now, but it was ugly. It got ugly, and I would not quit. I made it. I finished it. Oh. So it doesn't surprise me that my hips are tight today. Because it gets to the point where it's called a reach, right? A workout that you know you can finish, but you're not really ready for it. Definitely didn't fuel for it. So today the body is definitely in need of movement and fuel and just being nice to it. This side's a little better. I'm just going to go 10 of those flosses. Good. Up into the middle third. And then all the way up by the pubic ramus and the pubic symphysis. Everything around the bottom of the pelvis. Okay, good. All right, let's use the wall. A lot of times when we do the wall move, if you want a frame of reference for this one, you want to have a yoga block. You should have a yoga block as part of your home gym. So it's not an expensive piece. Okay, you're going to go right up against the wall, right knee. If you're it's your inside knee. So right knee is right next to the wall. The left knee is that far from the wall. And from right there, I'm going to turn my back on you. So you're going to turn towards your down leg. First part of that is just to hold it. Okay, so I'm going to do it facing you so you can get a little more frame of reference. Double arm relax. Turn towards the wall. This knee has to stay out. You're going to feel tension in your adductor, your inner thigh. Okay, so just hang out right there. We breathe into it. And good. So that's right knee down, right elbow back. Next one, let's change sides. We go left knee down, left elbow, back. Breathe into it. This adductor should feel on your lead leg. And good. Let's go back to right knee down, and I'll give you a side view on this one. So right knee down, we're going to go right elbow back, So I'm going to turn towards my right leg. You're turning towards the wall. And from right here, we're going to just drop that right shoulder and elbow back and come back. The hips will roll forward. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Same thing other side. Left leg, left knee is down. Left elbow is back. You will be turning towards the wall. We're just going to let the right knee go forward, left elbow back. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll finish this one up with the big turn. So, right knee down, right elbow back. Now we're going to do a big turn. So you're going to come up with the right elbow, rotate. I'm going to turn my back on you, and we're going to go right elbow to left knee. Come all the way back, face the wall. You can toggle to the back. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And good. Whew. Huge move for the thoracic spine, also in conjunction with the hips. So the order that we hit these things on Mondays, kind of important. Okay, right knee up. You're going to face the wall first. So you can do it like this. It's just a little bit harder to really be disciplined to hold that right knee out. Toggle to the back. Left elbow really high. Come around the wall. Two more. Get that left elbow way up there. Good. And one more. Whew. All right. So that opens up the chest really nice. Creates a lot of space in the rib cage. Now let's go ahead and go down onto all fours into that quadruped position. We're going to take the right arm, reach it all the way under, and then the right arm all the way up. 2, 3, go ahead and push your hips back when you do that. 4, we're just sticking to 5s today, just 5 reps. And 5. Good, same thing other side. You can really, a little bit of a detail, you can, when you reach under, palm up. That'll open your shoulder blade just a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, staying with the thoracic spine as it relates to the hips. Because if you're tight in your thoracic spine, you're going to find that your hips are going to have a hard time optimally functioning for you. Okay, so I'm going to sit on my yoga block. You're welcome to sit on your yoga block. Gives you a little bit of height. And it makes it a little bit easier because it opens your hips just a little bit to sit cross-legged. We're going to go half sphere of tension. So we have tension, and when we have tension, we have an upregulation of the nervous system. So if I go half sphere on my right, I side bend to my right, it's going to give me more length on my left. So a big side bend and reach up, long through the lats. And then come back, left side, strong left side, right arm, reach and extend up. And then the other side, reach and extend up. There's that QL. So this is stretching on the back side of the body, long muscle on the right or the left, that if you're not optimally stabilizing through your lumbar spine, through everything below the ribs that attaches to the pelvis, it's going to light up your QL a little bit. So you want to have this length so that your stability there is coming from your breath, from your diaphragm, from your transverse abdominals, and holding that space between the ribs and the hips so that there's less movement. The lumbar spine is able to rotate, but it's not built to rotate, especially in a high intensity environment. Let's go one more time each side. Big reach. Good. So we're not just talking about strength, right? We're talking about optimizing function. What's going to make my role, physical role as an athlete, what's going to make my body move better? And that's what we're after. That's why we do mobility. That's why we do Mobility Monday. And mobility is different than flexibility because it has an upregulation of the nervous system, and we're intentionally doing the movement. Okay, so now we're just going to go happy hips. Double check those quads, make sure they're functioning well. And we're just going to work backwards through the toggles. So we go seated knee toggles. Then we're going to go laying down knee toggles. So lay down, you're going to get a little more psoas here. Drop into that, drop into that. Upper body's not moving too much. 5 and 5. Now, reverse engineering, we're just going to go right into those neat hip toggles. So it's a very small movement. We're just lifting the hip towards the sky, and you can add just a little bit of push into the quad to help create space in the front of the hip. Good and good. If you have your yoga block near, put it between your knees. We'll get a little activation there. First movement is going to be to lift pubic bone, flatten your back. Drop the pubic bone, create space in your back. A little bit of forward and back. Anterior tilt is when the pubic bone drops. Posterior tilt is when it raises, but because the floor is there, we stop you from going into a posterior tilt, and we stop you at neutral. So right there, low back is strong into the ground. Give the adductors a little squeeze, making sure that your knees don't come out to the side, and just come up into that bridge. And as you lower the bridge, let's make sure that the low back is the first thing to touch the ground. 3, 4. And this just helps teach you to be in neutral. Your hips should be flat. Right here, you should not feel pointy hips. You want to feel pointy hips? Drop your pubic bone into that anterior tilt. You'll feel pointy hips. Pull the pubic bone towards the belly button. You'll feel flat hips, okay? So you want flat hips in a neutral pelvis. Here we go. Let's go 5 more double leg bridges. Little bit of adductor energy into the yoga block. Straight up. 2, 3. We're just going to go 5, 4. 1 more. And 5. Okay, good. Let's get it into a standing position. Woo! Don't get up too fast. Wide stance. We're going to toggle the hips forward and back. Give you that side view. Drop the hips behind the heels to the front. 2 to the front. You know, it's always funny. I got stuck on the up to Zwift yesterday, as I told you earlier. But because I knew that today was one of my easier days, it really helped me mentally get through it. 3. And as hard as it was, I think it was more of a fueling issue because I really didn't have a super high heart rate, but I just couldn't. It was just a conditioning issue and fuel. I just kept getting stuck. Oh my God. And it just keeps coming at you. And if anybody that's doing this with me today, this Mobility Monday, if you did Nice, the Nice Ironman course or the half Ironman in 2019, I just got to the point on that climb where I just started laughing. I'm like, this never relents. It's like 8%, 9%, 10%. Oh my God, same. All right, keep the hips back, keep the chest up. We're gonna drop down, touch the ground, come right back up. Make sure your hip hinge is really working hard. Push the weight back into your heels. If you're having a hard time getting to the ground, you can widen your stance a little bit, or you can get your foam roller so that you just have something to kind of connect with when you get to the bottom. From right here, let's keep this last one down. So join me down here. We're going to take your left thumb, draw a line on your chest, on your arm, reach all the way up, rotate, come all the way down. Other side, all the way up, all the way back down. 2. You should feel that in your inner thigh as you rotate up. If it's right arm up, you're going to feel that in your left adductor. Good. Left arm up, you're going to feel it in your right adductor. Inner thigh, adductor. Good. Push your hips back. Don't get too far in the front seat. You should not have much weight on your hands at all. One more, last one. Good. Good. And then hands onto your knees and just push straight back out of that. Okay, the one thing you may notice, well, you may not notice anything. Happy Monday. The last Monday in January. February is coming. We're getting much closer to all the racing. You guys, huge weekend this weekend. Put it on your calendar. If you're an American running fan, it is our Olympic marathon trials this weekend. So wishing all of the athletes the very best. If you are running the Olympic marathon trials and you happen to be doing Mobility Monday, definitely we want to give you a shout out and wish you the best. Get after it. Hope you have an amazing day. Everybody have a great week. Stay focused on the little things that you know will make a big difference later. Stay strong, stay moving well. Peace.